So this is the Taurus Ostand Q3 Air case for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and this case is all over my social media. They clearly went big on the paid partnerships for this case. Everywhere I look, I see people showing videos about these airbag corners and this 360-degree ring stand on the back. But what I really want to know is, do these airbag corners actually protect your phone against multiple drops? And is this 360-degree ring stand actually useful, or if it's just a marketing gimmick? So to find out, we're going to put this case through several real-world tests using Apple's own case design guidelines as a reference. By the end, I'll let you know if this case is worth the $65 price tag or if it's just overhyped marketing. Let's start with materials and finish. The Torras Ostand Q3 Air case uses a mix of materials: a polycarbonate back, TPU edges, and a metal 360-degree stand. Even with all those materials, it feels surprisingly comfortable in the hand. It has a soft satin feel, not too slippery, but not so grippy that it drags on your pockets. There are no sharp edges or rough seams to catch on clothing or scratch the phone. Inside, the surface is simple and smooth, with no extra padding layer like some other rugged cases. At this price, I would have liked to see an extra interior layer for added protection, but in daily use it hasn't been an issue. I've been using this case for several days and I haven't noticed any dye transferred to the phone, my hands, or my pockets. Like many other rugged cases, the polycarbonate here is made using bisphenol A or BPA, which is a common building block for the manufacture of polycarbonate cases, but can be a concern for long-term exposure. In California, Prop 65 requires companies to warn users if certain chemicals are present above specific levels. Some brands list Prop 65 warnings directly on their product pages. However, I didn't see one listed for this case on Torras' website. That's not unusual, but it's something I think customers should at least be aware of. Now, let's talk about basic protection and fit. It's easy to install and remove this case without flexing or stressing the iPhone's frame. Once it's on, the phone feels really secure. The front lip is tall enough that the screen glass doesn't touch a flat surface when you place it face down. However, I would still recommend a tempered glass screen protector with any iPhone case. Torras claims this case is drop tested beyond industry standards. To understand that, we need a quick baseline. A common reference is military standard 810H, which usually means 26 drops from a height of 4 feet onto 2-inch plywood over concrete, hitting all faces, edges, and corners of the case. The big catch here is that manufacturers can self-certify, so there's no guarantee they actually did the test the way it sounds. That's why I like to do my own drop tests. My testing surface is manufactured hardwood over plywood with a crawl space underneath. It's not identical to the military standard conditions, so instead of 26 drops, I went with 40 total drops to make up for the softer surface. Now, after doing over 100 drop tests with different cases recently, I've noticed something. You usually know within the first 5 drops whether a case is going to hold up or not. With the Taurus Ostand Q3 Air case, after the first 5 drops, I checked the phone and the case, and there were no dents, no cracks, and no obvious damage. So I kept going, all the way up to 40 drops. Checking in every 10 drops, I still didn't see any damage to either the case or the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Next, let's look at buttons, ports, and gestures. The buttons on the Taurus Ostand Q3 Air case are easy to press and have a clear, clicky feedback. The volume and power buttons are raised, so they're easy to find by feel without looking at the phone. The camera button is indented, which makes it stand out from other buttons, and it behaves exactly as you'd expect for camera shortcuts. The USB-C port opening is wide and should work with most third-party cables. The speaker and mic openings are fully exposed. They're not half-blocked like on some other rugged cases, so sound quality is very similar to using a naked iPhone. For edge swipe gestures like home, back, and control center, the front lip does brush against your thumb a bit, but I was still able to trigger gestures on the first try. I do wish it felt as smooth as some other cases, but I appreciate the higher lip for extra screen protection. Now let's take a quick look at audio performance. I've taken both audio and video calls with the Taurus Ostand Q3 Air case on my iPhone, and the voices sound clear on both ends. I also use my iPhone 17 Pro Max to record voiceovers for YouTube videos like this. This is a voiceover with the Taurus Ostand Q3 Air case off. This is a voiceover with the Taurus Ostand Q3 Air case on. With the case on, my recordings sound very similar to how they do without the case. When using the speaker for calls, music, or watching videos, the volume and clarity feel basically identical to using a naked iPhone.
Don't call me up anymore. I know you only want me when you're drunk and feeling lonely. Don't text me things you don't mean. Don't call me up anymore. I know you only want me when you're drunk and feeling lonely. Don't text me things you don't.
Next, let's talk about wireless performance and MagSafe. Cellular, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth all feel normal in daily use. Apple Pay works reliably, and there are no big metal plates or heavy metallic coatings blocking antennas. Even with the built-in magnets on the metal stand, the Compass app behaves normally, and I didn't notice any issues with camera autofocus or optical image stabilization. For MagSafe, the magnetic strength feels similar to Apple's own MagSafe cases, accessories snap on centered and don't rock or spin too easily, and it feels reliable enough for MagSafe wallets, stands, and chargers. Now let's quickly cover sensors, haptics, and charging. The Torras Ostand Q3 Air case doesn't interfere with any of the front sensors, so Face ID works as expected, the proximity and ambient light sensors behave normally, and the front camera area stays clean. System haptics and vibrations still feel crisp, and you still feel alerts in your pocket. In terms of heat and charging, during everyday use such as things like gaming, watching video, or browsing, the phone doesn't feel any hotter with the case on. Wired charging works normally, and wireless and MagSafe charging start reliably and don't drop in and out during use. Now let's talk a little bit about the camera and flash. The Taurus Ostand Q3 Air case leaves the camera plateau area on the iPhone 17 Pro Max completely uncovered, so it doesn't interfere with taking photos or videos. Flash photos look clean with no foggy haze and no bright arcs from light bouncing off the case. So, does the Taurus Ostand Q3 Air case live up to all the social media hype? Honestly, I'm surprised, but yes, it mostly does. It handled 40 drops with no damage to my iPhone 17 Pro Max. The airbag corners seem to do real work, not just look cool. MagSafe performance is solid and works well with common accessories, and the 360-degree ring is actually useful for things like portrait and landscape hands-free viewing, and as a finger loop when your hand gets tired. The case is really comfortable to hold, easy to live with, and lines up with many of Apple's case design guidelines for usability and protection. However, at a retail price of around $65, this is not a budget case, and there are a lot of strong competitors in this price range. So if you want a slimish case with real drop protection, plus a built-in 360-degree stand that you actually use, then the Taurus Ostand Q3 Air case absolutely deserves a spot on your buy list. Let me know what you think of this case down in the comments. And if you enjoy real-world iPhone case tests like this, and want to see how Dbrand's new tank case performs in my drop tests, check out this video right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.